He's pushing the button.
What's going on, guys? This is Dealer here, back again with RDX Podcast. We got a ton of great topics, a phenomenal panel as always, and of course, we are going to work our way through all the latest and greatest in gaming. Of course, we're going to start with some intros, and then we'll get into some shout outs, and then we'll get into some topics, and then we'll eventually leave. That's how it works. So, hey, D-Batch, what's going on, bud? Thanks for joining us once again.
Chilling. Just got in from outside, which is like full of like 3 feet of snow. It's pretty brutal. Really can't wait to get into the topics today. I'm really excited to talk about Anthem and my experience with the game. What a weekend, man. What a time to be a gamer.
Yeah, Anthem and Resident Evil, and it's just a lot of good stuff here. Speaking of good stuff, we got Zalker. What's going on, bud?
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be back. RDX. We got actually some badass freaking topics today. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. That Anthem demo, like D just brought up. Listening to Dealer play Resident Evil last night made me laugh my ass off. But yeah, man, it's good stuff. And games, everybody.
Yeah. And we've also got the Naughty Dog YouTube. Colt Eastwood, what's going on, bud?
The most dangerous man alive. Playing Resident Evil 2. Played it by myself in the morning with the lights off. No party chat, you know. And I found probably the best way to play a game that's scary like that is to hum the Smurfs theme while you play. La, 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 la. But freaking quality game. And yeah, my first Resident Evil game. Believe it or not.
Big Draco. Yes. We're going to definitely be talking about that a little bit for sure. Underachiever Rand is here. Podcast Room. What's going on, Rand? Thanks for ruining the podcast. Thank you so much for showing up, bud.
Yeah, I ruin everything I touch. They call me Randall Ruiner 19.
That's what happened to the 4K videos on YouTube. Rand made one and then they got fucked up.
Rand himself. That's why he's soft.
I'm sitting here in Chicago and I'm ruining that because we have a polar vortex coming in. Negative 50 degrees tomorrow.
Here too.
So, yeah. And like Colt, I'm playing Resident Evil 2, but it's not my first time.
Well, thanks for joining us, man. We do appreciate it. I've also got some patrons to give a shout out to as well. Starting with Captain Redbeard. We've also got Lethal Papa Darge Knight. We've also got Prime Suspect Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington. Thank you so much. Guillermo Cavillo. And of course, Robert Prather as well. You guys are absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for what you do. And just real quick, for those on Patreon, dealing with some stuff regarding their policies. Like they want raffles or giveaways in a certain way to be done. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do this without breaking their rules. So I'm definitely going to be posting something tonight on the site. We should have like 14, 15 games up for grabs there. So once again, that link's down below. He said, geez.
Oh, I'm thinking about becoming a Patreon now.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough. They're making it hard to kind of give as much as I can back. I invested a lot of money in these games and they're making them hard to even give them back. So once again, I will have something on the site tonight for sure.
How many games are you giving out a month?
Depends. Sometimes we give out several. If there's a mix-up, like last month, I gave out an extra copy of Battlefield 5 because there was a mix-up on the site and stuff. So it just depends. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Always buying new stuff. But that's not why we're here. We're here to actually talk about some really, really cool stuff and catch you guys up on all the latest and greatest. Maybe you're cleaning the house, out on a run at the gym. That's the best time to listen to podcasts. You know, these aren't for everyone. But you know what is for everyone? The February Xbox Games with Gold. They've been unveiled for the Xbox One. We have got I watched Rand's video on this earlier, so I kind of explained this. Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, and you've got Super Bomberman R with Xbox exclusive Master Chief character, if you give two shits. And on the 360, one of the two Assassin's Creed games Rand doesn't or hasn't played is AC Rogue on the 360 and Star Wars Jedi Academy for the OG Xbox. Rand, you had a good point. I thought these were supposed to be for the 360 and not for the OG Xbox. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? This is the second time they've done it. Mercenaries was free a couple months ago, I want to say. So it's really interesting that they're going to the OG library. I mean, I'm not complaining because I love Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, but I wonder if they're just running out of free games to give that are backwards compatible. And, that might be the issue.
I think I know why. I was thinking about next generation, what they do with Games with Gold. And I was wondering if they're going to give away one current gen game, one Xbox One game, one 360, and one Xbox original, which would be kind of a cool spread, if I can say that word.
Well, they would need more Xbox original games, though.
Yeah, I would think eventually they would get to that. But yeah, I think the first year you're not going to see any current games. And how many Xbox original ones do they have? Geez, like 30 or 40? I think it's 30.
Do they even have that many? I thought it was like 20, 13 or something.
No, it's 30 plus, I think, because there's 20 plus that are X enhanced.
So, Rand, your theory is maybe they're running out of back compat 360 games, so they're throwing in some of the OG.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, right? Like, otherwise, why bother doing the OG stuff? I mean, I know Jedi Knight Jedi Academy is X enhanced.
Oh boy!
So I guess that's a treat. If you want to go revisit the OG Xbox game, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think about this month? Like, people love Bloodstained. They talk very highly about that, and it's like a prequel to a Bloodstained game coming out this year.
Yeah.
But Bomberman,
don't be talking shit on Bomberman.
Well, hold on. The problem, Rand, if they gave us a killer February, we'd be screwed so bad. I know we kind of get to bank these games, but how many big games are coming out in February? 74?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of games. I mean, Assassin's Creed Rogue is a game I haven't played, so finally I get a game that I don't actually own, so yay.
And now you're just gonna not play that one.
Yeah, so it's gonna go on the backlog that'll never get played. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of wanted to bring this up because it's more of an informational topic. Those are the games you can expect. So take them or leave them. That's what you get in February. It comes included with your Xbox Live Gold membership. So it is what it is. Not much we can do about that. Drama Free Gaming says RDX crew back in action. Thanks for an awesome podcast. Thank you so much, Drama Free Gaming. You're turning into one of my favorite commenters ever in the universe. Also, wanted to talk about the Inside Xbox date. It's premiering on February 5th, for those that didn't know. So not too long from now, you're going to get an Inside Xbox. And, of course, they're going to be focusing on Crackdown there, right? You think so, Cole?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're dropping buildings. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. I can't wait. It'll be nice to see something more than 2 minutes of footage. So, yeah, it sounds like Joseph Staten is pretty excited, and he's they've been working hard trying to get that game off the ground. So I think they're really looking forward to seeing it and showing people.
Do you think they're going to put as much time into it as they did with Forza when they were on that show? I think the head of Forza was on there, and they showed like 30 minutes of footage. Do you think they're going to do that much? And go
no.
I want to see some stuff, man.
I do too. I don't think so. What about you, D? How much you think they're going to show?
I think they're going to show quite a bit of it. To be honest with you, what type of advertisement have you seen for this game? And it's launching in a couple of weeks, so I think they're going to do a full blowout on the game. It's the best time to do it. You got all the Xbox fans looking on it. People are anticipating them showing something about Crackdown, so that'd be the right place to do it.
Well, they definitely are going to use that platform to get, because one thing we can all agree on: there's not much advertising for the game yet. I am confident that they will pick that up definitely before it comes out, but I guess we will ultimately have to see. I think they're going to spend a lot of time on Crackdown at Inside Xbox. Rand, would you agree with that?
Well, for Crackdown?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of having it on February 5th, which is the same day as all the previews dropping, because the last 2 weeks they've been taking Crackdown and showing it to YouTubers and prominent media, and all the coverage is supposed to start that day. So on February 5th, you're going to have Inside Xbox that's going to go into detail on Crackdown 3, but you're also going to have articles from IGN, from GameSpot, from your favorite YouTubers, all talking about their impressions of, the campaign and Wrecking Zone. So that's when it truly starts. And then, Z Huge had said that the embargo for reviews is up on February 11th, which is that Monday, 4 days before the game actually comes out on that Friday.
That says a lot, doesn't it, Rand? That we don't hear anything about Crackdown. You think they would hide that thing and just lift the embargo on the 15th when the game drops, but they're actually dropping it. It drops on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game launches Thursday night.
Thursday night.
And the embargo is up Monday.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Wrecking Zone, right? Actually playing it, dropping buildings, as Colt just said. I think Crackdown's going to be fun. It's going to be. It's like Phil said on the podcast, which I'm sure is a topic. If you like Crackdown, you're probably going to like Crackdown 3. If you're not a fan of Crackdown, you're probably not going to like it, right?
Yeah, like I wouldn't like Shenmue. And everybody else would love it.
You know, it looks like Crackdown, like we've said a million times. It looks like a modern Crackdown. It looks like it plays like a modern Crackdown, especially now. And if you're not a Crackdown fan, much like I'm not like a Gravity Rush fan, right? I'm not going to like Gravity Rush 3 no matter what. It's the same thing with Crackdown or an RTS. You either like it or you don't. Charlie Walker has a really good question. Where is Maverick? Do you think they'll announce xCloud or teraflop/spec bandwidth at GDC? As we talked about with Brad Sams on the show, we know it's a thing. We had heard that it was going to be unveiled in January, but you know that may not be a thing. He said that, so it may come later. It may not come at all. But I think it definitely will be. I think they'll definitely try to work with that revision and put that out there. But yeah, we just don't know. Do you think they'll unveil anything in particular at GDC?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I would want to think of the cloud. They might show us something of the cloud. They might show us some HoloLens stuff, but I don't know.
Okay, well, very action-packed, intense answer from D-Batch there.
D-Batch doesn't want to stretch his neck out too far there. Yeah, who knows, huh? I don't blame him.
Yeah, I hear you. What's going on, Salty?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, when we do YouTube stuff or YouTube content, you know, there's times that we have to make predictions, and sometimes you got to take a little wild guess, and sometimes it works out.
Yeah. Well,
it's all right.
We're gonna go ahead and move forward to this survey that was done. Xbox having a higher rate of digital game sales than pretty much all other platforms in regards to consoles. Rand, did you find this particularly interesting? This analyst says that Microsoft is doing extremely well on the digital front comparatively to, you know, something like PS4 user per user. They have a higher adoption rate of digital, and Ubisoft had said some time ago that per user, Xbox users overall end up spending like 25 cents more per person, like on each purchase, meaning, hey, maybe, you know,
I think most people find it interesting, but if you listen to what people say, like in the industry, it's not a surprise that Xbox is more digital focused or have a higher digital share. That's not a surprise. I mean, Greenberg took some flack recently when he said that the Xbox is for the hardcore, right? Or Xbox players are more hardcore. Mm-hmm. What he meant by that is like they tend to buy more games and they tend to buy more digital stuff. The PlayStation is the most popular console, and the drawback of that is you get casual players who don't buy as many games, and the games they do buy tend to be on the physical side. So the Xbox has a smaller group, but they spend more money and they tend to buy more digital. So I wasn't surprised by the fact that Xbox sells a larger percentage of digital games than PlayStation or Nintendo.
Yeah. So you weren't so, yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised either. Zucker, did you find this particularly interesting at all?
Actually, I did. I found it very interesting. I don't actually trust, and I know it's going to sound weird, but I don't really trust putting my information on Sony's network after 2011 when they had one of the biggest breaches.
Oh, you got to move on, Zucker. It's time to move on.
Dude, no, I don't. Hey, 77 million people, bro. Like that's historic, man. Like lost, you know, and then they kept it secret for like 8 days and didn't tell their customers. Yeah, stuff like that. Like, and I know friends that, you know, I'm in the tech world that don't trust it. They don't put their shit on there. They buy gift cards or they buy stuff physical for PlayStation only, and that's just how it is. I mean, I'm not saying that might be a reason, but to me, that's why I don't put my card information on there or nothing, because I just can't trust that shit. You know, but you know, Xbox, you know, I mean, the ecosystem is very easy to use. I freaking love it. It's simple. You know, Game Pass especially is probably driving that up too. I'm not sure if they put that in there as a reason why. But yeah, that's the reason why I see it, to be honest.
Well, Zucker, why are they? Why do you think Xbox gamers have? It seems like they have more incentive to go digital.
I think the sales caught up, to be honest, with what everything was like in the PC and everything. I think sales have been really competitive, if not better, than what we've seen anywhere else. And being digital is just a lot more convenient for people, and it's easier. And you know, you can't break your disc, you know, like anything like that. And I've been going digital a lot more. I haven't bought a physical game since I got my PlayStation, and I bought all those physical. That's about it.
Hey, I gotta give a shout out to Noof Nukem. What's going on, brother? Salty, Y9 Power, Lethal Papa. You guys are awesome. A lot of people, Captain Redbeard, and shout out to almost 400 people watching already, guys. We were a little late today. We're sorry about that, about 10 minutes late or more, but we do appreciate it. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. You know the whole spiel. I got to do it. Yeah, I mean, let us know in the chat if you're surprised. One, if you're not surprised that Xbox, user for user generally, spends a little more money, and they do it digitally as well. And this is according to Ubisoft and this newest survey. Two, if you're surprised that is the case. I see where Aaron Greenberg's coming from, right, Rand? Do you think he rightfully so got in some trouble?
I mean, people don't really have, like, when he says they're hardcore, like, I don't think people really understand what he's talking about. Most people don't. Most people are clueless when it comes to a lot of things. So, I mean, it's the God's honest truth. Like, Aaron Greenberg comes out on Twitter and is like, Xbox gamers are more hardcore. And there's a reason he says that, because they tend to buy more games, right?
But they don't read past the...
But the only reason they buy more games is because they're like, PlayStation sells more games, but Xbox users buy more games. I don't know. Like, people don't understand what he was talking about,
Yeah.
But
you got kind of different gamers.
Per user, he's saying, like, an individual buy more games than on
individual. Like, I think the attach rate is higher, so like he can say they're more hardcore, quote unquote. You know,
wouldn't you say that Xbox gamers have more faith in having a more long-driven library that they have access to? Like, Xbox One gamers know that all the 360 games that are supported are going to come with them. And they know that there's even some Xbox originals they're going to get. So they buy a bunch of those digitally. And they know, because the way that Microsoft has set up the Xbox, they know when they get the next console, those games will all come with them. Right now, the PS4 gamers, they can assume, like, they're pretty sure that Sony's going to come out and say that they're going to have back compat with PS4. But we already know Microsoft is going to offer that. So maybe there's more. Maybe. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking.
Well, also, too, there was another survey, Rand, that I'm not sure we covered, actually. We might have had too many topics that week or something, but Xbox... Salty. Xbox, apparently, they've got the better gamers as well. You covered that, right?
Yeah. Science, man. Science proved it.
What was that all
Xbox
about?
gamers are the best, bro. Like, all right, guys, if you get in an argument with the PlayStation gamer or even the PC gamer, the PC master race, just be like, yo, science proved it. And you can't argue with science. It's a fact, right? It's a fact.
It's a repeatable experiment, yeah.
It's science.
Yeah. So
how they justify that?
Let's see. Who was it? It was LG and Activision ran this test for like Black Ops 4. It was a bunch of buttons on screen, and you had to click on it as fast as possible. And they determined through science that Xbox gamers were more accurate when hitting the buttons and faster at it. Therefore, Xbox gamers are better. You can say I'm being a little facetious here because I don't, the whole idea of like,
stop arguing.
Well, because you know how this thing is. Like, people are going to take the clip where I just said that and be like, Rand thinks Xbox gamers are better than everybody, and it's going to get around on Twitter.
Scientists do. Megaton.
Yeah, science is backing it up. It's actions per minute, man. That's how you determine if you're better. They do that in StarCraft. They record players' actions per minute. And they're like, this guy's doing 50,000 actions per minute on his mouse and keyboard. Look at him go. He's the best in the world. That's what happens. Xbox just killing it.
What's going on, Megadeth? What's going on, brother? Yeah, that's interesting. The LG and Activision said, fuck it, we're going in on this. We do got some information. This big leak on this Batman game came out. We're not sure if it's real, but there is something very interesting on it
to be.
Yes,
yep.
I do too. But like I said, this is apparently from some kind of tester, unnamed, of course. And this game is coming out this year. It's a Batman game. Code name or named Arkham Crisis. Not sure if I buy that. It might just be a code name. The Court of Owls are going to be the main villain. Also, it's targeting for October, but could potentially be delayed to November. You've also got, it's 12 acts, so each one's supposed to be over an hour. But here's the thing, because we can beat, I've seen people beat Mass Effect in 8 to 10, 11 hours, right? You can beat any game pretty quickly if you just bolt right through it. But this one is supposed to have some more stuff to it that's going to actually make it much longer. So it does have a day-night cycle, according to this. The map is 1.7 times, nearly 2 times the size of GTA 5, which is a weird comparison. The Batwing is going to replace the Batmobile, according to this. So you'll be able to fly that around using.
I read that and I was
so
like,
awesome.
no way, no way.
Yeah, it seems a little crazy. Here's what was really, really interesting to me, though. Co-op will be in. There will be co-op, but in only certain side missions. So not the whole game, not every side, only certain side missions. Now, the reason that this is extremely interesting to me is because this game is being led by Patrick Redding. He is the creative director of Warner Brothers Montreal now, a new creative director from the guys who did Arkham Origins. He's the new leader, and he did Splinter Cell Blacklist. Now, in Splinter Cell Blacklist, you had co-op missions. They were side missions, and those are the only time you could do co-op in the whole game. It's the same exact thing as what it says right here. You could do co-op, but only in certain side missions. And it says the same thing here in this Batman leak. And it's the same creative director who did Splinter Cell Blacklist who did the same thing in that game. So that is extremely interesting to me. I will say that. What's even cooler, and I'm sure we can all agree here, is some of the side missions. Apparently, you can have up to 3 hours of content in some of these side missions. So really, really big narrative driven, like full on, mini campaigns where you're like, holy crap, I would think this is part of the main story. That's what I want from an Arkham game. I can say that 100%. And apparently they got rid of the Riddler trophies and they're replaced with 31 complex challenges of some kind. That's interesting in itself. Rand, I know you're a massive Batman fan.
Yes.
What are your thoughts here?
I need this game, dude. I need this to be real. I want a Batman game. It's been too long. This will be 4 years now, right?
Yeah.
I need this game to be real. I know it's not Rocksteady, which, we have heard they are working on Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
But give me a Batman game. Did it say here where it's set in the timeline? Because it's called Batman Arkham Crisis, right?
Well, it's probably midlife for Batman.
Well, so it says, yeah, I guess so.
Arthritis.
Because it says the game also features Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, right? So this would have to be a prequel to Arkham Knight at some point, right?
Well, I find it funny that they use the word crisis, right? Because of like Crisis on Infinite Earths. There's plenty of stories that tie in with DC with that word specifically. So I don't know, maybe it's kind of like a hint of them that they're going to expand a little bit into like the universe. But the game does, like the owls in the comic book do put Bruce Wayne and Batman in a huge crisis. Like it involves the whole entire Bat family. It challenges him probably the most he's ever been challenged. It looks awesome, man. I mean, I
can't
can't
those
wait.
fucking peg games from Cracker Barrel. Figure this out, Batman. You think
No, it's going to have
go?
the Spider-Man little like tech puzzles.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Mary Jane missions.
that's crazy.
With
Jesse,
Give me more.
Jesse Darby in the super chat. Thank you so much. He says, I don't always get to watch, but I do like you guys in the podcast. Keep it up. Thank you so much, bud. Underachiever as well. If I can get this stupid thing to go away. Says, here's some money. Use it towards your gym membership. Okay. Thank you.
Dealer's hot yoga.
I actually I've got that all taken care of. That's good. So thank you so much, Underachiever. So I mean, any kind of final thoughts on this Batman leak? It's massive. It seems like, especially the 3-hour side mission thing, that's pretty intense. Like that's very notable, very good side, because that was Arkham Knight's weakness,
Yeah, they said they're bringing it out. They said they're going to announce it in March in that leak, right? That they're going to show it out in March and see what's up. I would hold I don't know, man, grain of salt kind of thing. Like, this is too good to be true. Like, it just sounds like something that we all want. Like, it's just like a fan-made list to me.
Well, there is at least some kind of truth to it. Wasn't there like a developer who they took a picture and they were wearing some sort of Court of Owls shirt? I think it'd be Montreal.
I think that's true. I just think like the details of this, like the Batwing, the side mission, stuff like that.
I couldn't imagine flying around the Batwing. Wow, I guess
please give me that.
It would be cool, but I don't know. Like the Batmobile was kind of the downfall, or at least the worst aspect of Batman Arkham Knight.
For most
people,
when it was in strafe mode, I guess. But yeah,
I don't know. So many people I've talked to are like, everything was good about Arkham Knight, but the Batmobile.
No, Try Hard Fan nailed it. Like the side content in Arkham Knight had so much more potential, and that's why that 3-hour side narrative stuff really gets me going, because it reminds me of Witcher 3.
I mean, at least Batman wasn't flying through like smokes of stack and like
Smokes
collecting
of stuff.
pigeons.
Well, you got a problem with collecting pigeons now, Rand?
I'm just saying. You want to talk about side missions? Like at least we weren't doing
Batman
backpack. At least Batman had some side missions with some story content. He wasn't just like collecting pigeons and backpacks and.
What do you mean? You don't want to grapple to a random wall of a building and grab your backpack, your backpack?
No, I
don't. Snack pack, backpack.
Oh
my God!
Bloody bat snacks. I really enjoyed Spider-Man. So I know Rand's saying Spider-Man's side content was lacking. I agree. I still enjoyed the game though. I think we all did, really, for the most part.
Yeah.
So
I think we all agree that we want the game to release this holiday. How about that?
Yeah. It's coming out this year, and also not only did one of the producers, I do believe, had the Court of Owls shirt on, but on LinkedIn, a new employee that joined in November put Project 2019 as their thing that they are working on. So that's a Batman game. We've heard so many leaks. They've had a while. They're apparently shooting to, try to be Game of the Year with this one. So, I mean, I'd hope most teams are. That's kind of like, maybe you should shoot for greatness, but maybe not. Either way, it's time for Batman. It's Batman time. I'm ready. It's been a while. So let's move on to, we got a ton of great topics coming up too, guys. Hit that like button if you're joining us. We do appreciate it. Resident Evil ships 3 million copies already, Rand. You've beaten this game. You've beaten both stories, right?
Yeah, I did.
Similar thing.
Yeah, it's Leon first run through and then Claire in the second. I'm so happy that this game is reviewing well and selling well. 3 million in a week. Just announce that Resident Evil 3 remake right now. I'm down. Give me it for next gen. Native 4K, 60 frames. Big open world. Well, maybe not that open, but oh man, I am like drooling to play Resident Evil 3. Like people complain that Mr. X is too hard. Oh, he's too scary. He chases you around too much, and I can't do what I have to do. It's too scary. Wait till you see Nemesis, motherfucker, with that rocket launcher chasing after you.
Oh man.
All right, I'm not playing this game anymore.
Uninstalled.
Yeah, Mr. X, he don't give a shit. He's coming for you. There's also an achievement to shoot off his hat, just so those watching.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, he I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things where part of the game for a lot of people is like, can I kill this guy? And you're kind of running, you're shooting at him, but we can tell you now, you can't kill him. If you see him, then you might as well just conserve your ammo. I'm gonna give you a little tip if you don't already know, and just he's kind of like Jack from RE7, right? Like, you'll know when he's supposed to die or if he's supposed to die. So it's a really good game, and two, this game is fucking 20 years old. It's just remade, so it's a very well done thing. But 3 million copies already, pretty impressive, right, D-Batch?
The game. First of all, the game is beautiful. It's honestly tell you, I think it's one of the best remakes ever. To be honest with you, although most of us played the game years ago, it seems like a new, fresh game. It's got complete modern graphics. It runs good on every hardware, on the Pro, on the Xbox One X. Runs like a dream on PC. It's well optimized. No day one bugs. It's when you go to Steam and you look at the reviews, usually people are really toxic out there. This game has overwhelmingly positive reviews. Everybody is loving the game, and it being at 3 million already is good for Japanese developers and great for Capcom as a whole. Hopefully they go back to their roots and just give us great games again. Devil May Cry 5 looks like it's going to be good as well, so I'm happy for the team.
Yep. Rand, if they announce RE3 remake, it's going to be 2025 or you get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine as long as I get it.
So would you rather RE3 remake or like something after Resident Evil 7?
Well, you see, we talked about this in party, and you're sure that the team that did Resident Evil 7 is the same team that did Resident Evil 2, but I'm not too sure. I think they have a separate team. One team doing the new games in the continuity, and one team doing the remakes.
Could be.
I think in 2 years you'll see Resident Evil 8 in first person. And then 2 years after that, you'll see Resident Evil 3 remake.
I like this third-person stuff, man. I really do think they might have, like the Assassin's Creed team. They fold over those developers, and they keep letting them work on the next thing. It's like an escalator of workforce. I don't know if it's two separate teams. It very well could be. It feels like a very Western game to me, much like RE7 did. It feels like those same touches. So I kind of want the next Resident Evil had that same perspective, and I'm loving the frame rate on these new games as well. Oh, okay, Mr. Kina, thank you so much, bud. Yeah, so we've got some other information regarding new head of portfolio for Xbox, and that would be somebody that just worked at Nintendo. What is his name again, Ram?
You know what?
Did you forget? Because I forgot.
I actually Damon Baker, head of portfolio at Xbox, worked at Nintendo for the last 13 years, I believe.
God.
Let me shoehorn something in here before Rand gives his information, since he's so knowledgeable. This was one of the very first times I saw Nintendo guys get really kind of snippy, to kind of disrespectful. I read on a website about when I read about that job posting, there was a bunch of Nintendo guys saying, "Who's this guy? Never heard of him. Oh, good. He can go ruin something else." Like, just, I was like, and I'm just not used to seeing Nintendo guys even bother with that kind of attitude. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed.
It was interesting.
Be damned, someone advanced their career, right?
No, yeah, he was the former head of Nintendo Indies, called Nindies, and he joined Xbox. He did join as the new head of a portfolio for Microsoft, and he said that he is honored and excited to evaluate all second/third-party content towards our strategy. He is part of Microsoft now. So, what do you think that means, Zauker, in terms of, this guy worked at Nintendo, he curated their portfolio. What do you think that means do you think it means more kiddie games, or do you think this guy understands his audience, or what is that?
I think it's a different type of audience, and I think it's the same audience at the same time. I think that he has relationships where Microsoft might be lacking in the Japanese department, especially that area with developers and building a relationship with them. And I think that's what he's doing, and that's the second and third party strategy, expanding a little bit, getting shaking hands with people that Microsoft might not be shaking hands with. And I think having that guy go in there with the experience, Rand said 13 years. And Nintendo, that's a lot of experience, people, and him to move up that quick, or not even quick, just move up in general, is showing that this guy knows what the hell he's doing. And I think it's a pretty damn, I don't know if we're going to see, crazy, like, oh, freaking first party games coming out, AAA Japanese games style games. I just think that he's going to build relationships and help, certain games that might not be exclusive on platforms, because
he's in charge of second and third party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second and third party. Yeah. So, those second and third party games that only come on PlayStation, well, maybe they start coming over to Xbox and, even in the playing field, so to speak.
Someone said more Super Lucky Stale types. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully not. But at the end of the day,
I mean, he did a really good job getting a lot of indies to come to Switch, which, if you notice, there's been a dearth of quality indies passing Xbox for whatever reason. So I think he's there with, like Zalker said, the connections that he's made to try to broaden Xbox's portfolio to get some of the games that Xbox misses from time to time. Maybe he will, try to get the Japanese games that everybody seems to want, but nobody seems to buy. You know what I mean? Like that are de facto PlayStation exclusives.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's a really good hire. A couple of my buddies who are, really into the industry, like, they immediately DM me, is like, dude, you have no idea how huge this is for Xbox.
Jeez.
So, like, he's well respected. He gets things done. Like, from what they tell me, like, he was kind of like third in charge at, like, Nintendo of America. It was like Reggie, some other guy, and it was like this guy. So for Microsoft to poach him and get him to come over and to work his magic, the people that I talk to are really excited. In fact, they said, like, this is one of these moves that really, like, okay, Xbox is, like, damn serious about next generation. Like, it wasn't enough just buying the studios and all that stuff, but, like, getting this guy apparently is a big deal.
Well, was he a big part of the reason why a lot of these third party games started coming on Switch? Like, I think Doom or whatever, like Diablo, all that. Is he a reason because of that? Because remember, like, the system before Switch didn't get a lot of third party support, but Switch has been getting pretty decent third party support. Is he a reason why?
I mean, it could be. He could be. I mean, I don't know the particulars. I think
he's managing their second and third party portfolio. So
Rand, is he doing Shannon Loftus's old job, or is he working next to Shannon Loftus? Or a lot of people have been asking if that's like a similar position, or do you have any idea?
I don't think she's been replaced. I'm pretty sure she's still head of Microsoft like global publishing arm. The ones that do like that work with the partners. I don't think she's been replaced. I think this is like he's just the head. I honestly don't know what the job. You'd have to like get him on and talk to him and be like, okay, so what do you do? Who do you talk to? Who's your boss? Like, does Shannon Loftus report to you? Like, how does all that stuff work? Like,
I don't think they were aiming to like replace anyone, Colt. I think that he became available and they saw the talent and the excitement, right? Like, just like, hey, a superstar has become available. Like, why not even create a position for him just to get him involved with our company so he can expand our reach everywhere in the industry?
I've been paying attention to what Microsoft's been doing for like the past 5 years, and I just can't help but think that this past 6 months, it's a totally different Microsoft, like completely different. Like the Microsoft, as fans of Xbox, the Microsoft that gets ridiculed and that we've kind of had to deal with the things that they don't do right. Like I just can't help. It's like a totally different, brand new company. It's really, really crazy. And I tell people, just keep your ears out because huge news is coming for Xbox almost every week. And those guys, like Rand and Dealer and Zachary, where you guys are putting out videos every week. D's putting out videos every week. There's always something to report. It's been really crazy this past 6 or 9 months.
Well, you know what this means. This NAC 3 Xbox One. It's coming. Jack Powell knows somebody somewhere. Motherfucker's an insider. It's happening. So, hey, I wanted to give a shout out to everyone watching. YouTube's a little dead today. We've been noticing that all day. So, if you guys could share this somewhere, help us out a little bit. Let's get all this shit moving up. Let's get it going. Hit that like button as we move on to the initiative. Still another God of War developer, an excellent choice in my opinion. Chris O'Neill, who is the senior staff level designer, meaning you're getting some key talent there from Sony Santa Monica, and I do not disagree with the decision, D-Batch. I do not disagree with the decision, whoever's listening.
He's laughing.
No. Last time when we got a Naughty Dog developer, everyone said, he's not important. He doesn't really do nothing. He doesn't matter. You can't say this about this acquisition. And I got to say, it lets me know Microsoft's not screwing around. They want the cream of the crop, and they're all in on their game, on their games for the next generation. And I'm really, really interested in seeing what the initiative's going to push out.
Yeah, and I think
from SpaceX as well. Someone in the chat says that's a good point. CBK, they hired someone else from SpaceX as well. I don't know why, but apparently they're doing some rocket science over there.
Yeah, and isn't this like the reason why they built the initiative in Santa Monica? To get these dudes that have great experience in the gaming industry, know what they're doing, and be like, hey, we're going to be right here next door. Why not? We're going to pay you a shit ton of money. Come pave your own way kind of thing, right?
There's a ton of talent in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Microsoft is stocking Starbucks and they're poaching the competition.
Guy orders a cup of coffee. He's like,
we have a Starbucks in the studio, right? We don't have to go nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. Rand, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I actually really don't have any thoughts on this. I like the fact that Initiative is hiring a lot of quality talent, but I don't really know the guy. I know the games he's worked on, but so many people work on a lot of stuff that it's really hard to say, he's did this or he's that important. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
He's a senior level designer, of course.
I know he's a senior level designer, but sometimes I do feel like, I don't know, maybe we kind of blow some of these things out of proportions. I mean, I know you didn't make a video about it, neither did I, because I'm not going to make a video about some dude joining some company.
I mean, Rand, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Did you like the levels in God of War?
I did.
All right. Well, he had a lot to do with that.
Okay. I'm just saying I don't there's more to it than he's I was the one who made all the levels, therefore I am awesome.
I myself with my bare hands.
It's if it was by the way, Microsoft has hired Cory Balrog and the initiative, I'd be like, okay, well, like there you go, you know, or some like big like Ken Levine to write the story or something who did the BioShock games. I'd be like, okay, that's the high quality talent. Not saying that this guy isn't, just saying that like I don't really know who he is.
They have to start, you know, Corey has to start somewhere, right? The way I see the initiative doing it is that they're getting these people that have experience and they're building kind of like their leadership within it. That's why these names are being announced. Like, of course, there's going to be like 200 or 150 dudes that we know nothing about, and they're going to be like dudes doing the brunt of the work, but it's all about the leadership, right? That's what it is. The creative talent and the leadership helping these 100 or 150 other developers have aim and understand their vision of what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's what these guys are here for.
I was just trying to be the devil's advocate on this one.
Yeah, well, don't be the devil's advocate, Rand.
Well, you know what?
Your negativity.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. No, Rand, like
everything.
We don't know what the initiative is going to be making, but we do know the pedigree of what the talent that they brought in has made, which is a really big deal. And a lot of them are based off of the reboot of Tomb Raider from Daryl Gallagher. He's been grabbing people.
He's grabbed a whole bunch of people from Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah,
a bunch of people from Santa Monica. Yeah, I think he had the lead designer from like Sunset Overdrive and Insomniac Games or whatever. Yeah, they're building an all-star level talent.
The important thing is like Initiative is a new studio. It's in a new location. I'm working on a video for this, so I want to just like say too much crap about it. But
I love
the important thing is like they've got this mantra, like this motto for this new studio. Like, we want you to be creative, you know, break the rules, do everything you can, you know, don't think about can it be done? Just try and do it. And, you know, it's a far cry from what like we saw, like, you're making Sea of Thieves. Okay. Yeah. You know, do your thing and hopefully it turns out great. And, you're making State of Decay. We know that game did really well, so we'll just let you do your thing. And when it's ready, just come show it to us. You know, this is a big deal where they're all going to work together. And that's something Microsoft needed.
I agree. I just wanted to be the voice that was like, you know, like, because sometimes you listen to podcasts and everyone's like, I agree, this is amazing. The next person's like, so amazing, and it's like next guy's like, very amazing. It's like, you know, want to like spice it up a bit. Like, dude, the initiative, like what talent they're putting together there, I am stoked to see whatever game they're making that's coming out in 2024 or 2023 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, it seems like Microsoft's like, hey, Daryl, build the team that you want and just get people. And it's no surprise that it's located in Santa Monica, really close to the hotbed of all that talent there. It's like it was designed to like steal a lot of Sony's developers to bring them over to Microsoft.
But I don't want to commute. You don't have to. Oh, goody.
All right. Yeah. and we'll pay you more and we'll have better benefits.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Be excited a little bit, but temper it or Rand will slap you on the wrist.
That's pretty intense. That's a pretty intense conversation there. I don't know. I don't know how much of the game you played, D, but I mean, I think either way we can agree that proven talent like that, it's always a good thing. That's always a great thing instead of
good ways in God of War, and the levels are excellent. The nothing bad can be really said about that game. So I think this is a major steal, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good stuff. I think the initiative, whatever they put out, we know that it's going to be kind of an RPG, probably third person. I think they had kind of alluded to some of it in some of their job hire stuff, but either way, it's looking good. I can't wait to see what they're working on. As Bill and Spencer said in an interview, like I covered in my last video, like initiative stuff will be, you know, a couple years out for you'll see or hear anything from it. But in the meantime, they got so much stuff to fuck with. So all for that. Xbox sales. And I guess I know, Rand, you're getting tired of me calling you here, but you cover all this stuff in different videos and stuff too. So it's always good to kind of get your perspective and opinion on some of this stuff. But apparently these sales are actually clocked at around 41 million units thus far. And I just wanted to kind of ask everybody, you remember when everyone was saying, no, it's 29 million, or these GPU papers say 30 whatever million. Yeah. What happened to that, Rand? I mean, apparently they're at 41 plus.
It's amazing, isn't it? I was told that it was like, couldn't be higher than 36 million. It had to be around 32 million. Like, I don't know. Like, we talked, and I think last time was on the podcast, we talked about this, and we both thought it would be around 41, 42 million at the end of the year. I mean, it's right in line with what we thought it was. Like, Sony's at 91. Xbox has been getting outsold 2-1. So you're looking at like the max it could be is like 45. So I was just like, couple million off that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, it sounds right. I know a lot of people don't like Z Huge. I had a couple people tweet me and say don't give him any shine, but I will say, like, he does have access to information. Not that Microsoft is giving him this information, but you can easily subscribe to NPD and GFK and all these different sales trackers to get accurate hardware numbers,
Well,
it was.
Hey, yeah, go ahead.
And wasn't the X a real big reason? Like, didn't he say that the X is doing exceptionally well? That it's a big push of why Microsoft has, like, revenue up, everything's going up, and the 41 million. I thought only 5 sold. The ones on this panel. I thought we were the only ones that had Xbox, but
I was told the sales go down every single year. Like, they go from 18 million the next year it's down to 15 million somehow. Like,
I don't know. It's just misinformation everywhere. But 41 million. That's 91 million by PlayStation. I mean, you wonder why Xbox is changing a lot of stuff. 41 million. Like, we're gonna be all honest, right? Like, cool, 41 million people, including us, are enjoying the Xbox, but it's not doing too good compared to other people. And we can see why they're moving forward with a lot of things and, really putting our attention towards the future, because we have a lot more brighter things to look forward to and a reason for Xbox, for all of us to be excited, especially after this E3. So I want to see what they're going to do next generation, and if they're going to even combine those numbers with the next generation, right? I don't know if they're ever going to just, like, hit that reset button. What do you guys think about
that? Like I said, it seems like they're going to move forward. They're going to keep moving forward everything, right? So I don't know. That's very interesting to even think about, Colt. What do you think?
I'm glad they are.
Okay, well, you guys are Jesus Christ.
I'm glad they are. All right, Colt.
Yeah, it's pretty cool if they are.
For the longest time, everyone was touting this 32 million sold, 33 million sold that was leaked by EA. And you would think that Microsoft sold consoles since then. Nobody put that into consideration. They still held that number. I said for the longest time that the X would help, the Xbox brand overall. And, apparently it did. We're at 41 million. That's great news. The PlayStation 4 is just, I don't know, it's just a beast, man. The way that it's selling, nobody could predict that, but 41 million is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crazy that Xbox's digital sales are, like, exponentially higher, and they have 41 million compared to 91 million. That's like weird. And, like, the guy in the NPD said, like, I can't stress that enough. Yeah, per person.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of, like, crazy. Like, wow, like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah,
these numbers are weird, man. They're all over the place.
Well, speaking of weird numbers, Death Stranding. Apparently it's coming out in 2020. And there's been some stuff that kind of leaked
been back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, well, hell, Norman Reedus is always huffing pine saw, saying shit on Twitter. But
no, I mean, like, just like a month ago, Kojima was giving out hints that it was definitely going to be in 2019, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, Kojima says it's going to take a while for this game to come out, and that's right from the guy who made the game. So, I mean, that sounds like it's definitely not 2019. And then something came out today where people are saying it's pretty much confirmed for 2020. Haven't had time to look into that because that literally just came out. But I mean, hell, Rand, what do you think about this game? Is it coming out this year or not? Which one? Jesus.
I think honestly, I was one of the few people that I was like, I think Death Stranding's coming 2019. But now he's like, oh, it's going to take a while, JK, and he just goes in his car and leaves. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what's coming out then? And so what I noticed is everybody shifted, right? They were like, Death Stranding's not coming. Fuck. Emergency. Last of Us 2 is coming definitely 2019. We have no idea what the fuck is happening. And this is why I'm a little annoyed that they're not going to be at E3. Right? Like, I just, we know Days Gone's coming, and I will admit the last showing of Days Gone has been it was pretty awesome for me.
Yeah,
I love being able to do whatever I can to attack these freakers or whatever the fuck they're called. I like being able to do that and figure out a way to defeat them on my own. Don't hold my goddamn hand. That looked cool. But then everything else, the rest of 2019, what is coming? Like, honestly. And it's like they kind of tease us like, oh, 2019, like, oh, Death Stranding or Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima. We have no fucking idea. Like, what is happening over there? Like, can we get like at least a little hint of what's happening instead of Kojima just going, "It's gonna be a while, fuck off." Like, I don't know. Like, what do you? And then, like you said, Norman Reedus is like, "Hey, it's coming this spring." It's like, what the hell are you saying?
And now the Last of Us 2 composer said coming very soon, and everyone like went into analyze mode and meant soon. And when you say soon, you mean tomorrow.
And didn't they just hire like a level designer for Last of Us 2, like a map designer for like their multiplayer? Like they just hired a guy like back in December.
Man,
It's
I'm
like,
in the
what the
camp that
fuck?
Death Stranding and Last of Us 2 could totally come out at the end of 2019. You know, one of those at least. Yeah, it's really weird. And like you're saying, Zucker, like what's going on? I'm wondering if Sony doesn't know what's going on either. You know, it's like these studios have to do their thing. You know,
Well, I think they know what's going on. I just think they're keeping certain things from people because they're like, hey, this game might be a little farther out. And Sony, to their credit, will all admit that, give their developers time to like make the game. So if the developer of Kojima's like, hey, I need another year, like what is Sony going to do? No, fuck you, release the invisible people and let's get this going. No, they're not going to do that.
Release the invisible people.
Like the freaking footprints in the game, all those invisible weird creatures and shit.
And speaking of invisible, Rand thought he was invisible fucking 5 minutes ago.
Hey,
What the fuck, Rand?
Listen
about this Kojima thing.
I'm sure you didn't want to hear the dog barking in the background during your podcast.
I mean, my cat occasionally, barks in the background. It's okay. What do you think? When do you think this game's coming out?
That's trending. I mean, I think it could be this year.
See,
but I don't know. The whole thing is, I've been told that their back half is in flux. Like literally, Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding could both release this year. But then if they flip, it'll be next year. Like, so Sony doesn't really know at this point. But it's very possible both come out, and then very possible neither come out, because that's just how game development works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but will that just mean Days Gone and Dreams, and then 2020 is?
Well, I mean, like
The Last of Us and Death Stranding, like 3?
I mean, it doesn't really matter because Dreams is literally every game ever made.
So
I mean,
Sony can have a slower year, even if their biggest game is Dreams and Days Gone. That's still a really good year. And knowing that The Last of Us and Death Stranding are coming the very next year is still really good.
Well, when Dreams comes out, I'm going to pay 17 Hershey's Kisses to someone to create Death Stranding in Dreams for me. That'd be great. So I can get my games finally.
Someone's actually going to create Sea of Thieves and Dreams with more content than the Sea of Thieves that launched.
I think people are so.
They tried that with Atlas. Look how that went. It was great.
People are so weird about their opinion of games. Like I look at Dreams, and the NDA lifted, so people are putting up screenshots of these like little indie type creations that and I think. Yeah, I know that game's going to rate really high and it's going to sell really well for being a creative game, but there's going to be a massive amount of people that won't even mess with Dreams. And I consider myself like a creative person. I like to draw and create stuff, but I never sit down and make liveries in Forza. I never sit down and make levels in Far Cry, and I never do that. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm not that kind of person. Are you guys into that sort of thing?
I used to do it with StarCraft. I used to do it in StarCraft with user games. I made one there when I learned like triggers and macros and all that to like spawn enemies and have health and set levels up. I did that, but that was like I was young and I was just having fun. Like it was just all fun bullshit. They put it in there for a reason. It's the same type of thing that made like Dota, right? They did it in Warcraft 3. So a lot of games have spawned from being that creative thing, which I enjoy. I just don't know if Dreams is on that same level, to be honest, because they really help people in Blizzard, like almost have like a dev kit, right? That's what it was back then, at least.
I guess I didn't finish my point. I kind of went off the side, but what I meant was that people are weird about their opinion. Like Dreams will be a really good game. Like it's going to be, people are really going to, it'll be a beloved title, but there's going to be all these people that say, it's not my thing. And then they'll try to bash it. And we see the same thing on, for certain games on the Xbox platform too. So don't be weird.
Yeah. And don't be weird.
Like Zucker and I are going to play Crackdown like a crazy person. We're going to be playing a co-op and just going to have so much fun.
Crackheads, man.
But there's going to be people that won't even touch that game with a 10-foot pole, and that's just how it is.
Nope.
Well, at least there's co-op, so I'll definitely be messing with it. We're moving on to Xbox 2, PS5 games in development. 16% of developers already working on these things. Next-gen games, according to this information here. Oh, Rand had to disappear again. Okay, so this dog's barking again. 16% of developers already working on PS5 and Xbox 2 games, according to this information here. And I find that really, really interesting, given that those systems are almost 2 years away. Obviously, most of these developers are working on multi-platform games, and if they're already porting them or already messing with this stuff, do you find that kind of pretty interesting that they're already doing this?
Yeah, well, from my speculation that the PlayStation was going to come out this year, I think it was scheduled to come out this year. What I'm hearing behind the scenes is that they had to pull it because of some issues with backwards compatibility. So now it's going to actually come out in 2020. So that would make sense that you got developers working on it if it was initially supposed to come out this year. I think that's great news for fans of the platform in general. Next gen is here. We're gonna get it next year, and it's good to see that we're gonna have some games on the PlayStation platform. It's interesting.
Very interesting.
Well, what this means to me, at least, from like the tech side, is that they've like, let's say you're a huge studio, you have like 200 people on your staff. You take about 10 to 15 of them, you put them on the new SDK or the new hardware, and you're like, hey, port over a lot of our resources, our engine or whatever we have into that, and then add to it for the next year. So when we start developing for like the next game that they're going to release, or even the game that they have that they're working on now, you have those resources on hand like that. So that's kind of what they do, right? That's what people do. That's why programmers get hired. They'll just walk in. That's their job. They're not sitting there going, well, what health should this guy have? No, they're going and working on the damn SDK to port all their resources on it. So it's just it's very fluid. The next game or the game they're working on is very fluid and they're easy to go along. So that's why they're saying 16% of developers. It's a weird fucking number. Like, where'd they get that? But that's kind of what I see it. And even indie devs, they'll put like a guy or two on there and be like, hey, start transferring our stuff on there and working on it and see what we can add and see what else we can do and add to the next game. And that's kind of what they're doing right now. Like, it's pretty cool. These things are moving. Things are going to motion. Next gen stuff's going to start coming out for us, news and everything. So I'm excited for it, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question that somebody asked in the chat that sort of ties in with this. Obi-Wan FTW says Ninja Theory has a game in works right now for Sony. Is it Hellblade? I don't remember Ninja Theory working on their next game being for Sony.
Yeah, Ninja Theory have that's interesting. Obi-Wan, can you link that, because that would be very, very interesting. Ninja Theory on their address to their fans when they were acquired, when they agreed to be acquired because they could finally make the games they want to make, they said that hey, this means that we will no longer be making the games for any other platform but Microsoft platforms. That's what they said. So I don't know what they would be working on. They've already ported Hellblade was on PS4 before Xbox. So I don't know what they would be doing or if that's even true. But
they did a VR treatment of Hellblade only for PC. They left PS4 out of that completely.
I mean, maybe they could be putting Hellblade VR in. I mean, that would make sense, and I see why Microsoft would be like okay with that, because the game they already made. It's like if Microsoft stopped updating Minecraft on the PS4, which I don't think they've done at all. Like, they want to support stuff that's already there because they want to do right by the consumer. And if they want to bring Hellblade VR in, it makes not a lot of sense given the task that they're probably on now. But apparently Phil Spencer's playing their new stuff, and they're pretty blown away already by their new game for Xbox.
Maybe he means like Team Ninja, the other developer, the Japanese developer.
That could be.
He might be meaning that, or he might be thinking of one of the other studios like In Exile or Obsidian that are making games, not just for Sony, but the multi-plat games.
Yeah, they're doing they're doing multi-plat games because they had those in the works before they were acquired. But yeah, really interesting, because Phil said they have multiple projects from multiple teams. There's 13 studios and some of them have more than one team. Like half of them do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not Ninja Theory, buddy. I mean, Jez Gordon, a bunch of people have said that we might be seeing Ninja Theory's next game this year, this E3, or coming up really soon. And Xbox has hinted at some of these studios are closer than you think. So I don't think they're making anything for Sony anymore.
Yeah, he might have meant Team Ninja, or maybe someone said that shit. You just never know. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Spider-Man and of course the Indie Gamer. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us. Hit that like button if you're here. We do appreciate it. It's a little slow today. We've had shows like this sometimes, but we do appreciate everyone who does show up. You guys are awesome. As we kind of move forward past this information we just discussed, which is next generation developers, 16% of developers already working on next gen titles apparently, and this is a ways out. But we do want to cover Metro real quick, just so you guys know. The file size for Exodus is 53 gigabytes, so that'll be the day one launch size. It's one of the bigger games.
Yeah,
one of the bigger games, I gotta say. But the game looks amazing. Hopefully, it supports 4K assets and all that stuff.
So, who's the expert on Metro Exodus here in the room?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Because the first one was just segmented chunks. You know, you worked your way from little area to little area. There's like little open areas. They weren't very big, from what I remember of Last Light. But like, is this one like more open world, or what did they do with it?
Yeah, it seems to be taken up in scale in every single way. I mean, it looks good, but you know, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Metro looks great. I didn't want to stay on it too long because we got some other stuff to cover. But 53 gigs is the file size there. The game looks phenomenal. Skill Up was playing it. He said it's the best looking console game he's ever seen. He played it on Xbox One X, and he directly references God of War and Red Dead after he says that, meaning it's the best looking fucking game he's ever seen in his life on console. So that's very, very impressive. Shout out to the team at 4A who are also locking that game down to the new Epic game service. They've taken it off of Steam until 2020, and they're locking it down. Say what, D?
People are just freaking out. Like, honestly, to tell you, I love the PC platform, but some of the guys on PC, they're just babies, man. Oh my god, I gotta close my Steam application and use the Epic Store. First of all, if you have your Steam launcher, even though you bought the game in the Epic Store, you can still launch your games from Steam. You can add your games there. It's not a big deal. I pre-ordered the game, and I contacted the place I pre-ordered it from, and they said, "Yeah, don't worry, your pre-order's still coming. It's going to be from the Epic Store right now." It's not a big deal. Like for those that don't buy on key sites, that just buy it regularly from these stores, it's actually better for you. It's going to be $10 cheaper in the Epic Store than it would have been.
$49.99.
So that's a bonus. Number two, the developer is going to get a bigger cut of the profit. So that's also good for the developer. So I don't know. I think it's a win-win situation. Who cares if it's on a different store? You can still get the game. The Epic Store is not bad. They got Fortnite on there. If
you're a PC gamer, you have to have like 8 different accounts, tied in with your credit card or however you do that to pay for games. That's annoying, but I was able to launch every game I ever bought through the Steam launcher, except for the Windows 10 games, the Xbox games. Those had to be launched from the Xbox thing. That's kind of sucks, but
yeah.
Well, we're not going to talk about that.
Get used to, and Bethesda are taking their games off Steam. Ubisoft, they're probably thinking of it if they haven't already announced it. Like, that's the thing you're just going to get used to on PC. You're going to have 6 different launchers, and guess what? That also does promote more competition, though. That's the one upside, whereas on Xbox, you got one store with one price for everyone. It's hard to find Xbox keys because it's highly regulated and controlled. On PC, you got 5, different launchers already, and people are getting codes from eBay and returning them and stealing the code. Like this happens a lot. So there's more competition the way they're doing it now on PC, but it is annoying to have 5 different launchers. I will say I like to consolidate a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. But what would be a big of a deal is if Anthem actually got 60 FPS support. BioWare say Anthem may get 60 FPS support for the PS4 and Xbox One in the future, and I'm just gonna say, yeah, fucking right.
Wait, let's ask D-Batch.
Okay. First of all, this game is demanding as hell. First of all, the CPU on the Xbox, both of them, and the PlayStation Pro, it's not going to be able to do it. Forget about it. I don't know why they would
just to shut people up, I think.
That's not happening. On PC, you basically need a 2080 Ti to maintain 4K, and you're not even getting 4K 60. It gets to 60, gets a little bit higher than 60, but it doesn't it's not stable at 60. It's not the average frame rate. It's around maybe 52, 53 frames per second. And that's like a powerful card. It's a $1,300 card. So don't expect wonders from, the console versions. To be honest with you, the Xbox One X version, it looked well. It looked good. It ran as good as it can run at 30 frames per second, I should say, but it looked fantastic. A lot of console guys, they're more on the prettiness. They don't really care about the frame rate so much. So, you know what? It is what it is. But no, you're not getting 60 frames per second on consoles. Not happening.
No, I don't think so either. Not even at even 1080p. It's definitely going to be CPU bottlenecked, and even now, and that is a demo. Like, it's really a beta. They call it a demo for some reason. I know it'll run better or get more optimized, but at the end of the day, I just don't see them pulling that extra 30 FPS on the CPU side out of their asses.
Oh, that frame rate. Yeah.
Go ahead.
That frame rate was crashing hard, man. I mean,
yeah, it was cutting in half when you've got like 5 or 6 enemies and you're all shooting and you're throwing out, alpha effects and particle effects. The frame rate cuts in half, and I can't count it, but I can tell that whatever it's trying to hit 30, it's running at half of that.
Yeah,
for a few seconds.
Streamers were playing it, and once they went into Fort Tarsus, that like hub area that you like customize your stuff, that shit dropped hard, and they were just like every streamer I watched was like, "Holy shit, my frame rate!" Like, because it drops so hard because it's horribly optimized in that area.
And Black Rider says Anthem motion blur is better than LSD. Yeah, it looks so bad. It does. It's so bad.
As bad as that motion blur looked, though,
when I turned it off, motion blur, it was still kind of present.
Yeah, it's still there.
Well, as bad as the motion blur is, I think you can turn it off on console. Fonzarelli says on next gen maybe. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I read the quote and I was like, well, maybe they're talking about maybe a PS5 patch and Xbox 2 patch or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And but then I obviously reading the quote, they're talking about Xbox One and PS4. So, obviously, yeah, hopefully next gen, if that game's still, a big, massive thing worth doing that for. But I guess we'll have to see. I think they did it to shut people up. Randall, are you back?
Yep, I'm back.
God, are you excited for that 60 FPS on Anthem?
What, on next generation consoles?
Exactly.
That thing is not hitting 60 frames on the X or the Pro. Thing barely hits 30 frames.
Right now, yeah. And the weird thing is it's Frostbite, so you think it would be doing a little better, but let's go ahead and move on. Sony first party shifting focus toward PS5. Apparently, the dev kits are out, says an analyst. So that's just a little update there. I don't want to talk about that again. It's just kind of in addition to what we've already spoken on. Pretty interesting stuff. However, Phil Spencer did go on a big ass interview, and we can kind of give our more in-depth thoughts on this interview and what's going on there. Once more, shout out to everyone here, guys. Hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Phil says it's our biggest E3 ever, or at least as big as it's ever been. It's no longer strategy or strategery. It's time to show. He also says the real goal of buying all of these new studios is to have regular releases to delight ourselves as well as the fans. He says the kind of capability we have now is basically far beyond what they had over the last several years. Like I said, Terry Myerson gone, all that stuff. Their budgets, definitely released. What we have now is just so much different, and it's a different position than what we had over the past 5 years. We don't want to copy others as well. Like, they definitely want to kind of do their own thing and develop their own IP. Recently, he also said new IP are like one of the coolest things that you can do in the games industry. So they're definitely working on some of those. And he says we are in a unique position to forge our own path, forge their own trail. And of course, he's talking about leveraging their cloud network and do things that their competitors just can't do because they lack that capability. So Rand, since you're back, you can kind of give us your thoughts on all of this stuff.
I mean, it was a great interview. I think it was like 40 minutes long, and there's a lot of great information there. The E3 stuff about how they're going to go as big as they ever been. I did find it interesting that he talked about there was internal discussions to save money and not go.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was the stuff about how, which I thought was very telling, about how it's the stuff about like the new studios and the games, and they haven't really been in this position in the last 5 years with their first party. Like that really gets me excited about the future of Xbox. Is, like, I've been a little bit critical about their first party situation and the lack of variety and how it's really only Halo, Gears, and Forza.
Mm-hmm.
So to see them get all these studios and actually create content that's going to be different from that, and have Phil talk about how he's excited, like we actually have stuff to show and then more stuff to show. and that it's an exciting time for like him and everybody at Xbox. Like, I think it like bleeds through in the interview. Like, they're all excited, and that kind of makes me excited because I know, some of the situation they were going through under Terry Myerson, right?
Yeah.
But all in all, like, I mean, I think it was an interview everybody should listen to. It makes me really excited for the future of Xbox. So how's that for negative Rand, huh?
Yeah, good job.
That was positive. That was positive, Rand.
Yeah, no, he doesn't come out very often, apparently.
Positive for STDs. Zucker, what's your thought?
To be honest, I was looking at the things that when he talked a little bit down, like when he talked about Crackdown, he said in that interview, it wasn't what we wanted it to be or what I wanted it to be. I think we overstepped our boundaries and overstepped our, like we kind of overshot with tech on everything. To me, that shows confidence in your brand. Because back then, you if you can reflect and be like, yeah, we did mistakes, we did this and this and this, and you're kind of putting yourself down, you have something in the works that's going to be like very impressive for people. You kind of be like, hey, I know we messed up here, but just wait to see what we have now. That's what I enjoyed about it, is that he can reflect and be very logical about what they did wrong and basically give us answers. This is probably one of the best interviews he's ever done, right? Like, give answers on how they're going to fix that and also not repeat the same mistakes, right? Because to me, it's like, if you don't know your history, you don't have a future kind of thing. And I think he knows that and how to fix those certain things. And talking about all the like first party and then just like how they're going to keep getting bigger and talk about like the next gen and everything, just all that whole interview was just jam packed, man. And, Dealer and we made videos about it, and it was just so much to put in there that they're long videos, but damn, they're worth a listen, people. Like, it's just great stuff.
Yeah. Really, really, really good stuff. Y9 Power says 60 FPS don't make a good game. I agree. It's got to be a good game first before it can be a good game, right? But if you add 60 FPS to a good game, it makes it even better. It's kind of like graphics, right? When you take a game that's really good and you make the graphics even better and more immersive, it makes that good game even better, in my opinion. Same thing with frame rate, just more enjoyable to play. So definitely agree, but there's obviously some caveats there. Colt, from the interview perspective, the interview side of things, we've all kind of talked about this, but we've never really gotten together and talked about it in a group. What are your thoughts from everything you've heard about Crackdown and his thoughts and takes on people that were kind of asking why the game looked like that and all that stuff?
Well, I mean, he's really transparent because they had a nasty development of that game. It's been a horrible ordeal. And I know people probably think they're sitting around, being idiots and not getting the job done, but they went through some nasty road bumps, having the cloud gen thing built up and how he said they concentrated on the tech too much in the initial marketing. And Phil asking the team to go back and just run over the campaign from scratch, or not from scratch, but just totally overhaul it from the top down. I mean, it's really important to me. I really, really, really enjoyed Crackdown 1 and 2, and I'm different that way, but I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm glad that he's telling people this is what's going on and this is what we're planning to do. And Zucker's right. Him admitting that means he is preparing his audience and his fans, the consumers, for good news to come.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Y9 says, I don't want to be obsessed with frame rates. Yeah, I don't think anyone is. I think that if a game is 60, obviously that's better than 30 for most people. If it's not, then obviously I still had a great time playing, Anthem or whatever else is not.
God of War, Spider-Man at 30 frames.
Yeah, like all that stuff's great. But like I said, get used to hearing about 60, get used to 60 itself, because in a couple years when the next Xbox comes out, you're getting that option so much more. So, that's one of those things that a lot of people will come to embrace as they see the difference in bigger open world games. There's a massive difference there. So, it's one of those things you're just going to get used to. It's going to be kind of commonplace on consoles for the first time ever, because these consoles are obviously going to be the most balanced consoles of all time. So looking forward to it. I know everyone here pretty much in the panel loves the option, at least. And if you don't want that option, then you don't have to choose it. Everyone wins. So definitely hear you there, man. D-Batch, anyone else got anything to say in this interview real quick?
Yeah, honestly tell you, if you're an Xbox fan, there's no way you could walk away from that interview not feeling optimistic. I liked how he, admitted their mistakes with the Crackdown 3, cloud and all that stuff. I like the honesty there. Also, too, I like the fact that he said, his conversations with Satya Nadella, and how they were saying how we're all in for gaming, and they were making a big joke out of it, putting all these money into these studios, and the fact that he said we're in a unique position where we have so much stuff to show, we don't even kind of know what to show first, that we're just in a great position. And that really tells me that at E3 they're gonna have all cylinders firing, man. I'm so excited. I think the brand is in a good place, and I think they're gonna be prepared for next gen, and we're gonna have the exclusives that we so much desire. So
yeah, I have actually one more thing to say about it. He kept bringing up about the, not just the studios. Like, we get it, people. We all want games, and that's what they're going to be doing. But one of the things Phil has hinted at was we needed to get the hardware down, the software down, now the games. Well, the games in these studios are the software also. And he's talking about being in different locations, having their foot everywhere. He said that we're not forcing people to be in the Northwest anymore, in Seattle. Like, they have all these studios everywhere, and that builds trust within the studio, and it basically pushes these studios to go to the bleeding edge of technology, right? That's what they're doing. That's what, to be honest, Sony has. Kojima, right? He worked with Gorilla and their engine, and then he went with them and be like, this is what I did with your engine. And they were blown away. They were like, dude, you added so much to it, and we did this better. That's what they're doing. That's what Microsoft needs to build, is those certain areas where you can create this hub of creativity and push technology and gaming farther than we've ever seen, much like Sony's doing, and much like a lot of other companies are doing. And so, we talk about the Santa Monica studio. We talk about the studios being open, like In Exile and Obsidian, not open or bought, being very close to each other. That just breeds creativity, guys. That breeds bringing better technology to us as gamers. So I'm really excited about that. And he talked about that multiple times. Like, he brought that up in this interview and before. So that's something that I really personally loved hearing about. And I just think it's really cool for us to get that opportunity in Xbox to see them grow that out.
Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was a really well done overall interview. Rand, I know you kind of already spoke on it. Everyone's kind of already touched on it, but as I had said before, this week has kind of been a little slow. It's kind of like I said, like, people don't like hearing about the same topics over and over, but neither do we, so it kind of gets boring. So, like I said, this shit's kind of dead today. Ain't much going on, but we do appreciate everybody that rocked out with us. We're going to end the show a little early. I got to head out and do some things. Plus, there's nothing else to talk about, so we got to just keep it 100 with you guys. Hit that like button as we get into some outros. And we're going to start with Colt Eastwood, the Naughty Dog of gaming. What's going on, bud? What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
Like I said at the beginning, I've been playing Resident Evil 2, but I said this last week, but I actually really like We Happy Few. So I've been playing it. It's on Game Pass. I would have never bought it. It's just one of those things that Game Pass just says, here, you have access to this, and I gave it a shot, and I don't know. I just really enjoy it. It's a different game. It's not like any game you'll play, So I'm really enjoying it. You'll see me on my channel hopefully by the end of the week with a new video. And thanks for coming out tonight, guys.
Yeah. What's going on, Zachary? We've been playing. Where can people find you?
I've been playing Rocket League, but honestly, I've been playing that Anthem demo. I played a lot this weekend. I was one of the fortunate ones to not run into too many problems. I got to beat the whole thing, do the stronghold multiple times. Damn, that game is so fun. I can't wait to jump back in it. I actually watched Dealer play Resident Evil 2. Listened to him squeal. It's fucking hilarious. Oh my God, the headphones, man. Come on. I heard the guy behind you. You turned around, shit yourself, and threw the flamethrower at it. You don't even front, bud. But you guys can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter, and then go to my channel, Zalker87. I try to put content out as often as possible, like keeping you guys informed. And today was awesome. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hit that like button. Come on now.
Also, we've got D-Batch, but what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing Resident Evil. Game is just beautiful, scary as hell, especially when you put the headphones on. Gosh dang it. And I played the hell out of the Anthem beta over the weekend. I can't wait to get into that game. I did run into a few bugs. I had some sound issues, and the load screens are just horrible in that game. They're way too long. There's a few glitches here and there, but overall the game was fun. Unfortunately, I experienced the YouTube 360p bug, so my videos, they kind of just went live today, so you guys can watch those over on my YouTube channel at dbatch, and of course you guys can find me on Twitter at d_batch.
Also, Damn good 75. It's not an issue of the GPU for Anthem. It's not the issue. It's the CPU. So if the CPU doesn't have enough overhead to push the frames up to 60, it doesn't matter if the game's at 720p. It's going to be at 42 frames per second, right? Even though the GPU has literally, 90 frames of overhead left over, the CPU is not fast enough to push those frames out as quick as the GPU. So that 1080p 60 just wouldn't happen in a game where you've got that much stuff going on and that much detail in an open world. That's why you get a lot of 30 FPS open world games. Because, and that's why Witcher 3's frame rate crumbles in the big cities. But out in the wilderness, less geometry, less detail, AI, all that stuff, then that game's pretty much, especially after the patches after it came out, pretty good 60, pretty stable out in the wilderness. But in the city, crumbles. And that's why the CPU just runs out overhead, and it is just not there.
And to me, it's just amazing that they got it running on the consoles, to be honest with you, because like high-end PC with a great CPU, it just hammers them. So
yeah, and it's very much not a full, and that build was like 6 weeks old as well, or 6 weeks older than the current build they're running with. So it'll run and look better at release. I fully expect that to be the case. And if you want 60, obviously that's what the next gen stuff's going to do very well. So Rand, thanks for joining us, buddy. Even though you fell asleep a few times, your dog fell off a cliff and whatnot. What have you been playing? What have you been playing? Where can people find you, man? Jesus.
Cold.
Oh my God!
God, Rand.
He keeps.
Actually, we gotta give Rand. We gotta be nice. He's been snowed in. They had 14 feet of snow in Chicago. His entire house is buried, and yeah, he's got like a car antenna sticking out of the snow so he can do the podcast. He does what he can.
He sent me a DM and said his dog was whining, so I think he went and dealt with his dog. Hopefully, he's back by time.
Giving it a suppository or something. Yeah, I know. Stuff.
Y9 power. Lol. Yeah, Rand's a fraud. But also, I've been playing Resident Evil. I just finished up that first half of the campaign. Finally got some time to sit down and play that. Phenomenal game. Obviously, the second playthrough is going to go by a lot faster than the first one. It's much of the same, but obviously from Claire's perspective, at least in my case, where you got different boss battles and you're kind of handling things in the other end or from the other perspective. Pretty neat, pretty interesting game. Definitely going to run through the second half, and then I think there's a new game plus as well. So definitely looking forward to that. Also, for those that are wondering, I haven't really said anything on Twitter because I don't, there's so many characters on Twitter, and you can't begin to explain anything properly, especially without some idiot making assumptions about everything anyway. So when it comes to Shady, he was a great panel member. We are kind of moving forward with the show without Shady. Unfortunately, it's not something I necessarily wanted to do, but there's just things going on and things I won't go into out of respect for all parties. But it is not because of a Twitter post. It was a series of things where, every single podcast has had different members, this one included. We've had a bunch of different members, and eventually things don't work out. Certain people have their lives pop up, they got to do things, and other people, other stuff happens, and
timing is everything. It really is. Timing is everything. And we've been talking to other people, and we just kind of move around with the show sometimes. So
so fuck Colt, I lost my fucking train of thought. So
I'm hungry. I'm getting pizza. That's all I care about right now.
Right? So I just want to throw that out there. It is not because of any bullshit like fucking post. I call people fuck faces every day almost, and people think I'm fucking bound to pressure or it's because of language used or offense. No, that's idiotic. Like, just think about things for a second. Also, the state of Twitter and how people are when they hear one side and the other side kind of takes the high road and says, you know what, I'm not gonna even start to engage in this bullshit because it's not necessary. They automatically assume or think that something's true, or at least two people, whatever. That's all I heard from. The rest of it was positive or whatever. But either way, I wish the guy the best. He's a great guy. He's very dynamic, charismatic character. And that's why I really like to have him on the show because, he's definitely different and he offers a different perspective. And that's what we've always done. We've always brought on new people that kind of fill out and round out the show and offer different perspectives. We will have somebody new here soon to take over that role. And as always, we'll just continue to move forward. slow, fast, whatever it is, the show's always had interesting little twists and turns. So nonetheless, regardless of some of the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter, I am once again wishing everyone involved the best. And it is not because of one issue. It's not because of one thing. I wasn't handed down anything from any higher up people. It is just simply the result of everything that's happened over the past couple months. And there's a lot that the motherfuckers don't know about. So, and no one's perfect. It's no one person's fault. But like I said, I'm trying to handle this as best as possible. We've always tried to help everyone on the show, only ever tried to add to what they're capable of, or the audience that they're capable of getting. So,
and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys in the chat to come in here and talk to us and share our stories and talk gaming with us, and it means a lot. So yeah, it's a good place to be.
And like I said, today on YouTube, shit was super slow. We've had several shows where just motherfuckers, everyone died. You know, it just happened. So we do appreciate everyone.
They're all fucking frozen outside, like
motherfuckers are buried in snow. So we do appreciate everyone that did show up. You guys are the fucking best. Once more, hit that like button. Maybe share this bitch on Grindr, and we are out of here.
Later, everybody.
I signed up twice.